So at Cisco, we believe that we're about to go through a major transformation, a transformation of business, of IT, and the network. And this transformation is all about a new kind of application. Applications are going to deliver benefits we've never seen before. They're going to be applications that are network-centric, they're going to be delivered by IT, but they're going to impact the business in new and interesting ways. And we think you, the IT audience here, the networking practitioners here, you're going to be instrumental in delivering these new applications, and we want to help you make these happen. Today, I'm going to share with you some of those applications, what we see our customers doing. We'll talk about some of the challenges, where the barriers to being able to get there, and then how Cisco architectures can help and help make you successful. So the title of my session is Your Enterprise Network, getting you where you want to go. Now, I know you're thinking, that's a little bit of a funny title. I expected, SDN this or SDN that. And by the way, I want to apologize ahead of time for my colleagues. We're going to inundate you with SDN content this week. But this isn't about SDN. It's about a new kind of application. Anybody staying at the Bellagio this week? A few fat cat expense accounts there in the back. So when you go into the Bellagio, you're going to see a new kind of experience. The MGM Resorts operates the Bellagio as our customer, working with them on something called the Connected Mobile Experience. You walk in the Bellagio with your mobile device, it's going to detect that device. It's going to onboard you to the network, going to reach out, enable you to download a Bellagio application. And then that application, they're going to engage you as a guest inside the hotel. You're going to learn about the services, restaurants, gambling, dining, shows, all the things you can do at the hotel. And of course, using Cisco's location-based services and Wi-Fi, we're going to get you to where you need to go inside the property. So this Connected Mobile Experience application is all about enabling a new guest experience, enabling higher customer satisfaction. But it doesn't stop there, because the MGM Resorts team can now use this to make better decisions about marketing, about merchandising, about using the property and using the resort. They can see where you've gone, what you're doing, and they can find out better ways to serve you as a customer. So it's a great example of a business impacting application enabled by the network, delivered by IT. In fact, let's go to video and see what the MGM Resorts business team said about this application.
The Bellagio app is like a personal concierge for our guests. It allows them to find out all the information that they need about all of our properties, restaurants, dining, and shopping with pinpoint accuracy.
The new Bellagio app is definitely working. Through the Wi-Fi network and our partnership with Cisco, we're definitely able to see new revenue opportunities that we didn't have before by marketing to customers in real time, based on their location, based on their preferences, and based on really what they want to hear.
For us, particularly on the marketing side, to be completely aligned with IT is critical, because it's really the technology that allows us to deliver the levels of service and engagement that we're looking for.
So it's a powerful testimonial from the business team about the benefits of this application. And we think this is the application landscape of the future. Let's face it, last 25 years, IT has been in a bit of a rut, right? It's been all about ERP. It's been about the back office. How do we connect supply chain, finance, operations, logistics? How do we plumb the internals of the enterprise? But now it's not about the back office anymore. It's about the front office. It's about customer-facing applications, client-facing applications, B2B applications, about more productivity out of the assets. It's about building things, making things, distributing them around the world. It's a whole new set of applications. Now, coming in, and before I did this keynote, I did a little research on you. Most of you are in one of these 5 sectors: government, healthcare, manufacturing, education, financial. Anybody here from state and local government, public sector, healthcare, education? Down here? Awesome. So we think in each of these verticals, there's going to be new and exciting applications of the network and applications for IT. And at Cisco, we call this the Internet of Everything. It's the power of bringing everything onto the network in creating new applications. Let's start in government. What's the big challenge of government today? It's really new business models. It's how do I serve citizens at lower cost? How do I invest to protect, how to invest to grow my city, invest to serve citizens? They're worrying about things like parking systems, intelligent transportation, municipal services, fire, police, safety, driving consolidated network architectures in the utility space, all kinds of new ways to use the network to deliver better services to citizens. In healthcare, clearly, better patient outcomes. But better patient outcomes at lower costs, particularly in the US as we deal with the healthcare crisis. How do we get all the resources at the point where we're serving a given patient, bring all the data there and all the information that we need, drive doctor productivity, nursing productivity, connecting to patients in the home, en route, in the ambulance? How do we bring and integrate everything in the hospital onto the network and leverage those assets the best we possibly can? Tremendous transformational opportunities. In the education sector, I live in Palo Alto. Stanford's figuring out they need to move from educating hundreds or thousands of people to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions. Using distance learning, using video, creating a new classroom experience. I have a 5, 8, and a 10-year-old at home, and they're in a networked classroom. And all those devices and infrastructure in that classroom are networked, and they're starting to draw down resources from cloud services to deliver education out into the classroom. And then financial services. What's important in financial services? It's the relationship with the customer. Whether it's a retail example like the Bellagio, as you go into a retail banking setting, a B2B example using video to connect with private clients or major clients or business partners. Using the network and the power of the network to deliver transformational applications. That's what the Internet of Everything is all about. So right now, I'd like to invite you to imagine what this could make possible for your business. What you could do and the role you could play in driving new opportunities for your company or your organization. I got one more example, and it's a pretty fun one. But before we go there, I want to talk a little about the challenges and what Cisco's doing from an architectural perspective to address those challenges. So we've recently released the Global IT Impact Survey. And 78% of you told us that the network is more critical to delivering applications than it was a year ago. So that's good. You generally agree applications are getting more network-centric. But at the same time, 41% of you said network's not ready for BYOD. 38% network's not ready for cloud. And then 42% of you are vaguely familiar with the Internet of Things. Not exactly a resounding endorsement. And yet, these are the capabilities that we're going to need to build these applications of the future, connecting the mobile device to the cloud service to the infrastructure of your organization. So what are we going to do about this? Well, our strategy starts with a basic tenet. It says that what IT needs, what the networking teams need, are networks that are simpler, more secure, and reduced TCO, or lower cost to operate, easier to operate. We have a formula to achieve that. Our formula is 1 + 1 + 1. It starts with one network, building a single network foundation across switching, routing, wireless, L4 to 7 appliances, security. Single data plane, single operating system. On top of that one network is one management, pulling together a single point of management for that entire network, so you can operate the network as a whole as opposed to the individual elements. And then one policy. And you have a single place where you express what's the relationship of users to applications, and how do you provide the business policy and the security associated with those relationships. So 1 + 1 + 1 is our recipe for a simple, secure, and reduced TCO network. And that's the core of our vision. What that network's going to enable you to do is connect people, connect to clouds, and connect to things, and build those new applications. It's all supported by our Cisco One architecture. How many people have heard of Cisco One? It's pretty good. So I have one slide on SDN, and I promise you it's not the last slide you're going to get in case you were disappointed. So let me tell you about that Cisco One architecture. Because our view on SDN is a little bit different than others in the industry. And our architecture starts with that network element layer. Here's where the switches and the routers and the Wi-Fi devices, the L4 to 7 devices, they're all in that network element layer. We strongly believe that that layer is going to be differentiated by software and hardware integration all the way down to the ASIC level. In fact, earlier this year, we launched this device, which is the Unified Access Data Plane Processor, which is a new integrated wired and wireless ASIC, providing 24 gigabits of wired capacity and full 20 gigabits of wireless capacity on a single platform, so one network with integrated capabilities. At the same time that you're running an ASIC data plane, we need all these services to run on a software data plane. So you can run a dedicated piece of networking infrastructure, you can run an appliance, or you can run a virtualized service and get the same performance, the same capabilities, no matter where you run it. But the magic here is at the API layer. We're exposing the power of our network operating systems, iOS and NXOS and XR, using device APIs. And these are the APIs you'll hear talked about as southbound APIs. So one PK, our platform kit, is the Cisco SDK, Cisco Software Developers Kit. We also support, as part of that, OpenFlow, and of course, the CLI. Now, we're leveraging all the capabilities of today's network as we define our software-defined networking strategy and architecture. On top of the network element layer is a control layer. That's where Cisco One sits. Now, the control layer provides some basic network services. So those are capabilities, simple capabilities like discovery and topology and fault management, as well as more advanced capabilities like quality of service and the location-based services I just talked about. So this gives you a single point to access those services. Imagine, instead of having to go into each box and set up QoS, you set a single QoS policy, and then the controller executes that policy across the network. Our vision is that we're going to be able to deliver key capabilities in the control layer while continuing to leverage the network you have today. Those southbound APIs I talked about, those are going to work on top of existing Cisco platforms. So you can layer in the one controller, SDN controller, on top of your existing environment, get added capabilities, added benefits of centralized services without having to do a rip and replace strategy across your networking estate. Now, that one controller itself also has an API layer, network services APIs. These are called the northbound APIs, and that goes up to the application layer, a set of network-aware applications. Now, these could be applications built for folks like yourselves, things like Cisco Prime infrastructure and ISE, as well as management products built by our third-party ISV partners that you'll see out on the show floor. But these also could be business applications, such as the Bellagio example I showed you, applications leveraging cloud services, mobility, and video. The network application layer can gain access now to all the rich and powerful services of the network. So that's our Cisco One architecture. So now what are we doing with it? Well, earlier this year, we launched two new offers. The first is Unified Access. With Unified Access, we're integrating wired and wireless. It uses this Unified Access data plane ASIC I talked about. And we take two of these devices, and we put them in the Catalyst 3850. And that gives you integrated wired and wireless capability in your access switch. So 40 gigabits of wireless in your access switch, ready for 11 AC. At the same time, we put three of them in that 5760 wireless LAN controller. That's going to deliver 60 gigabits of wireless LAN control performance in conventional overlay architectures. So our unified access strategy is leveraging those ASIC hardware data planes as part of the Cisco One architecture. At the same time, we've announced new unified services platforms. So the ISR AX, now the ISR AX runs on the software data plane. Same code base running on a software platform. It's general purpose CPU platform. Today, when you deploy in the branch environment, you're deploying multiple boxes. You're deploying routers, you're deploying security, you're deploying L4 to 7, you're deploying WAN acceleration. What we've done with unified services is we've integrated all those capabilities using the Cisco One architecture into a single solution. And we price that single solution very attractively. Reduce your acquisition costs, reduce your TCO, simplify management of services out to the branch. Visibility, control, optimization, security. ISR AX also launched in the first half of this year. So great new solutions that you can use today based on the Cisco One architecture. So earlier I asked you to imagine what this could do for your business, and we want to give you one more example. And to help me with that example, I'm going to ask Sean Curtis, my colleague, to come on out. Sean? All right, what do you got for us here, Sean?
All right, we talked about a couple of use cases earlier, different industries that would take advantage of and have a huge opportunity in the Internet of Everything. So I thought of one industry that you didn't mention in there.
And what is
real
that?
Big business. What about professional sports?
Professional sports, okay.
More specifically, basketball, right? I see you got some basketball shoes on
I wore
today.
my basketball shoes today, just in case.
Absolutely.
A basketball game might break out here.
So, Rob, I thought we'd share with everyone our vision for how the NBA might take advantage of the huge opportunity of the Internet of Everything themselves.
Great.
All right?
Great.
So, for example, sensors are getting much smaller these days. As a matter of fact, if I hold this up, you can see right here, this is an IP stack, all right?
Right there.
This small chip right here.
I understand we're actually putting IPv6 in one of those.
You got it, absolutely. That's actually a sensor, the small chip is, and so that would go on that IP stack, right? So these sensors can read everything from temperature to something like speed to maybe even sound, right? So think of the opportunities here. Well, we're also seeing these sensors pop up into a number of consumer-type applications right now around sports. So many of you have probably seen this, or maybe even are using one right now. This is a chip that goes in your shoe, and it measures things like distance, how far you've run, or how fast you're running your stride. And this one here measures things like your heart rate, so it sits on your body. Right? There's a number of these as well, right? Here's one you wear around your chest. Here's another one you wear on your chest. They measure heart rate, pulse ox, things like that.
Right, right.
Of course, we've got ones that you can wear on your wrist. They're also watches. I'm wearing one today. And think about this use case. Here's a company that makes a basketball, and they've got a sensor. This is the sensor that goes in this basketball, right? And it can tell things like the arc or the rotation of this ball, things like that.
That's pretty cool.
So let's share with you a couple of ideas of how we think these sensors might bring data to the sport of basketball. So on my iPad here, Rob, I've got an application we created, and it's a coach's view of what's taking place in the game. It might be the coach or the assistant coach or even a trainer who would want to monitor what's happening in real time during a live game to see what's going on with their players and with the activity. All right, so you can see things like video. And by the way, Rob, video is actually brought to us from a sensor on the network.
It's another sensor. I can use video to see what's happening in the room here.
Cameras with advanced analytics provide real-time data, right?
So so we have both Wi-Fi networks today. We can see where everybody is. We have video. We can start to correlate. We can make new decisions.
Absolutely. So here we've got some replays of this game, and you can see below that is a court, and that video is actually tracking each player, not just our team's player, but the opposition. We're also tracking the ball, so we can see where those plays are developing on the court. And then over here to the right, we have some statistics of the player. So in this case, we're looking at Kyrie Irving's stats. And you can see things like speed and impact and how high he's jumping, right, for performance. So let me go ahead and play a video, and we'll see what that looks like. Let me click here.
You got to continue to go to the basket. Irving, wow, in a blur.
So I can see a live view of what's actually happening on the court, where everyone is.
Real-time data on our network, right? So we see the play develop.
I'm the coach. I can figure out what's going on here, give my players some tips.
Make some adjustments.
That's
absolutely.
Great.
We can see Kyrie's max speed, 6.5 miles per hour. So he's looking pretty good. He's not fatigued, right? We'll keep him in the game. All right. Well, what does this mean for the fan experience? Let's say you and I are at a playoff game right now, and I've got my mobile device right here with me. So if we bring that up, And if we're in the arena watching the game right now, we might want to provide a richer experience for that fan in the arena as well, right? So some of that
I go to get popcorn. The big play happens. Now I can come back and I can check it out in the replay.
Absolutely. So you can play replays, highlights of the game, maybe multi-camera angles. And again, we want to provide some of the statistics that the fan would care about. So let's see what that looks like as I click on this replay.
You got to continue to go to the basket. Irving, wow.
He's pretty good.
He does look pretty good. So as you can see, wired and wireless devices on our network, it's critical we have an architectural approach to handle that traffic the same way. And we've got all this data coming from different sensors, high definition video from cameras, right? We need to be able to handle all of that in a good way with policies.
So it's really the power of the network in a totally different way here.
Absolutely, you got it.
Well, now, you know, Sean, I was a bit of a basketball player back in the day.
You look a little bit like a basketball player.
Yeah.
All right, well, you know what, Rob? I've got a challenge for you.
NBA All-Star Kyrie Irving. Cisco Senior Vice President Rob Soderbery. It is on.
Hey, Kyrie.
Hi, Rob. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate you guys having me.
So we've been talking to the fans here about the impact of the network and all this new technology on their business. And of course, your business is the NBA, entertaining those fans. What could you imagine? What do you see as this technology? How could it impact you?
Well, first and foremost, I'm always trying to improve my game. So I feel like this technology can definitely improve my game in a variety of ways. And also, I'm also trying to get a further connection with the fans, and I feel like that does that.
Yeah. Now I got to imagine that your coach is doing chalk talks. Can you imagine this stuff maybe replacing the chalk talk at some point?
Well, absolutely. The way technology is progressing, I feel like anything's possible.
Yeah. And how about now video? You probably spend a ton of time on video. We could blend like what you do in prep with this new information.
Yeah. Well, the information about my speed, my vertical, any way I can get better from game to game, I'm willing to do.
Now, I was talking to some of the folks beforehand, and they were all looking forward to seeing a little bit of what you could do. Actually, that's not completely true. There's a few Celtics fans out there, so they were a little rough, but
it's okay.
But most of them are here looking for you. So, what do you say? You want to play a little horse?
Yeah, it's up to you, Rob.
All right, let's make it happen.
Let's get this out of the way.
Now I'm already warmed up, but you might want to take a few.
No, you can shoot first. Go ahead.
All right, let's bring up the scoreboard.
Oh, I don't like where this is going.
First shot of the day. Let's see how this goes.
Oh. All right.
I guess we're both off this morning.
All right.
All right, come on, Kyrie, let's see what you got.
We're tied here. I mean, I'm doing better than I thought I'd do.
There it is. There it is. All right, you got to make that one off.
No. He's still shooting here.
Still your turn.
You got to make that shot.
I can make it. Okay.
All right, I think that's an H.
I'll move to the other side for you, okay? So
all right.
This is probably your stronger side anyway.
This could get gruesome. Okay. I love where this is going. All right.
Whoa.
Wait, we got to give him another
All
chance.
right, last shot. Let's see it.
All right.
Get it up there.
Oh, there it is.
One more, Rob. Come on, you got this. Oh. All right, hey. That was a lot of fun, guys.
Yep.
All right, Kyrie. Thanks so much. We look forward to seeing all this technology in the action and future in the NBA sometime. And Appreciate you having a little fun with us.
Appreciate you guys having me.
All right.
See you later.
All right, and thanks, Sean. Well, I hope that plant some seeds in your imagination about what you might do in your business, how the network and the power of all this new technology could help you and help your organizations. And at Cisco, we want to deliver that architecture that allows you to make it happen, gets connectivity out of the way, builds that platform, enables you to do new and great things for your business. So thanks, everybody. Excuse me. Thanks, everybody.